recording.
Whoa, look at that.
Oh, good roll, Laura.
Wow. Well, good rolls. Unfortunately, I totally missed recording all of that other stuff. So.
Oh, no.
This is why. I do need guys to remind me to record things.
I thought you said you did. I'm sorry.
I know. I thought I said it. I did say I was going to, and then what can I say? I get into the role play or something else, and then I get distracted. So that was my fault.
It's understandable.
It's only my fault because I'm in charge of it.
Cocktail tactic. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Okay. So Zagig. Zagig is now a vegetarian, talked out of being a typical Dragonborn because he's got an existential crisis, as Maddie said.
Whoops.
All right, perception, 25. 24, 17, 18. Yes. So as you rummage around in the dragon pile, you find... who's going to be writing all this down? You guys all writing it down?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll type in the chat as well.
Okay. Yep. 721. How long do you want to spend doing this?
I think we got time.
Yeah.
Like you're just going to take however long it takes?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it will take you probably the better part of a day to sort through all of it. At least hours. No, that wasn't GP. That was CP.
Yeah, sorry. I typed the wrong thing.
No problem. 815 silver pieces. 1,890 gold pieces.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They were young dragons, but there were two of them.
Sorry, how many?
1,890.
Oh, I wrote down the wrong number.
1,000.
Putting it in chat for you guys as well.
Sorry, what's that? What were you saying, Joe?
1,890.
Yeah, 1,890.
Yeah, okay.
You find several diamonds, as in two. One of them seems significantly more valuable looking than the other. It's just bigger, shinier. Does anybody have a background or a skill or something that would...
I mean, would I, knowing what they look like when I've used one for Revivify?
You think one of them might be good enough for Revivify? One definitely looks pretty valuable. The other one's also valuable, but maybe not good enough.
Be useful for chromatic orb.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's worth 50 GP.
Yep. So the difference here is I'm going to say that because Cora's done Revivify a few times now, and you haven't used Chromatic Orb yet, have you?
I have not. I have not had a diamond.
Okay. So, and if you don't have it, but you are a dwarf.
I am.
So, and although diamonds aren't technically stone, it's not totally outside the realm of potential for a wizard who's a dwarf to know a little bit about, basic gems. So I'm going to say you can roll Arcana or Investigation with advantage.
Okay. Oh, heard that. Advantage. I'll do Arcana. Oh, wait, it's the same. Wait.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, you turn it over a few times. At first you find a flaw and you realize, ooh, not great. And then you turn it over on the other side and you realize, oh, but and you think that you could actually break this into two smaller diamonds, one of which would easily be 50 gold pieces worth, and the other one would probably be worth something like 20, 25 gold.
Okay.
So one good proper strike in the right location. And you think you can probably do it because there's already a natural flaw that lends itself to that kind of breakage.
Okay. I don't know if I have anything that would be sturdy enough for that because I only have a dagger and a quarterstaff. So I think I might just wait on that.
Okay. There's also a potion, or it looks like a potion. It's a little vial. It's filled with a black liquid, but it's very liquidy. It doesn't look like the mold that you've collected.
Can I
And
can I just clarify?
Yeah.
In the chat, it's got 721 GP, 721 CP.
It was
81
supposed to be CP.
Ah, right. Okay, that makes more sense now. Thank you. Sorry.
thanks. You found the dagger in the chest, which Aegeus has confiscated, partly because he said, the deal was all the magic items go to him. And he also said something about, do anybody remember what he said?
Mm,
Ooh.
no.
He said it was very dangerous and this is not good.
I remember him saying it wasn't good.
Oh yeah, referring to the dagger? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, this is not good, not good, and then he took it.
Right? Is that how I sound?
No.
Emma holding up a harsh mirror of reality towards the DM.
Hey, I can't do a good voice, I'm sorry. I'm terrible with accents.
I'm going to be second guessing myself the rest of the session. There are also 3 medallions. They are made of platinum.
Ooh.
They look almost like coins, except they're just a bit too big. And they have an interesting image. 2 faces on one head with different appearances.
Ooh. Voldemort.
Voldemort? No, definitely, because Voldemort is part of a Harry Potter trademarked intellectual property, it is absolutely, definitely not Voldemort. Please don't sue us, J.K. Rowling.
Voldemort.
Voldemort.
Voldemort. Yeah, we have a lot of molds, so yeah, why not? And as you lift these medallions up, presumably each of you is looking through this, so one of you is going to have, Cora is going to have found one, just like probably Satina and Meridian. When Cora picks it up, she has a strange reaction. It almost feels kind of warm and inviting, if such a thing could be said of an inanimate piece of metal.
Would I understand through my background what the 2 faces symbol is in terms of does it have any religious connotations?
Sure. Yeah. Would you like to roll a religion check?
Yeah. Where have we gone? There you are. Oh, 10.
Well, you would recognize this as Hoar. Hoar, not WHORE. Which needs to be clarified in this campaign, apparently. Who is the god of vengeance.
Ooh.
And famously lawful neutral, but also previously an exarch, which is a kind of an agent, powerful agent, working on behalf of Bane.
Ah. This is why it's warm and inviting, because Bane is lawful evil, which is a bit much for Cora. But this is lawful neutral, therefore, which is kind of what she is now. Ah.
You also think that because they're made of platinum, each of these holy symbols is worth a decent chunk of money, probably 25 gold pieces each.
Wow.
Well, they're platinum, and they're also bigger than a standard coin. And if you put all three of them on separate chains, and then you put them on your neck, and you walk around with them swinging left and right, you can get a +2 to charisma bonus. No, just kidding.
So this this medallion feels warm and inviting
Yes, to you.
to me. I'm going to ask the other party members if it feels the same to them.
Feels like metal. I kind of chew on it. Tastes like metal.
Yeah, as you chew on it, you're what is it? I mean, is it a beak?
Nope.
You leave a little indentation. What is your alignment again, Meridian?
I'm neutral evil.
Right. It's not doesn't feel like anything other than what you would expect it to be. A piece of metal in a cold, damp cave.
Yeah.
And Satina is what now?
True neutral.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
So I would like to. I don't know whether a prayer is the right word for it, but basically, sort of, whilst holding the medallion, ask Hor if he's inviting me to follow him.
Mm. What skill check would you like that to be?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'll give you a hint. It's not going to be acrobatics.
No, I mean, I would say religion again.
Sure. Yeah, I would have also taken like a charisma related check if you wanted, but religion's perfectly fine.
Oh, that is just. Yeah, I got 9.
Or insight even.
Insight. That might be better. Yeah, there we go.
Oh,
Wow.
That's probably a better check, actually, because I'm trying to see what this thing's telling me.
Yes, I think that makes sense actually. So you, as you, so what does Cora actually physically do? Can you describe it?
So I'm stood there holding the medallion in one hand and covering it with the other, so it's like encased in both my palms. And I close my eyes and I'm sort of saying under my breath, because obviously the other two aren't feeling this and might think I'm slightly insane. But I'm just kind of I'm asking the medallion and Hor, are you trying to tell me something? Do you wish me to follow you? Sort of muttering that under my breath.
And the rest of you can roll perception checks.
that's a 6.
Satina is like, that is a beautiful stone on the ceiling.
Becoming a dwarf, she's become really obsessed with like the stonework of things because now she can actually understand it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Though she does
And-
miss being able to make pictures with her hands.
Right. Sorry. Another time the DM talked you out of something. Bad DM. And Meridian, you think you briefly saw a reddish light just sort of bathe Cora's face, but it was only for a moment. And when you blink and you look again, you're still not sure that you actually saw that. But Cora, you feel energized briefly. And although nothing changes, there is this underlying sensation that perhaps this may be a deity that would grant you the divine powers you previously had under Lathander. And you feel like this would be something that fits your new zeitgeist. Meanwhile, Zagig, having watched several of you bite into these coins, comes over and picks up one and bites it himself. No, not much better than the sand. I'll stick to those berries.
Oh, then. So, are we also going to talk about the portal on the wall?
You also find a scroll.
Oh,
Ooh. Does it say what the scroll is? Or is it just...
It's in a scroll tube, so you'd have to open the tube.
Can I?
I mean, physically, can you? Yeah, you can certainly try.
Okay, I'm going to try and open the scroll tube. Does it let me? Or does it blow up and kill me?
Zagig backs away. I've seen this one before.
wow, Cora, I
I mean,
didn't think you'd be the one to open it.
It's not a book, so therefore I am less afraid of it. So I am willing to open it. I may regret this decision.
You're going to become
Yeah.
scared of any enclosed object.
Anything that potentially has knowledge on it.
No, just scary.
Cora's going to be part of the book burning brigade. So you unscrew the cap, and you realize it is waterproof, and you pull out a scroll, and a cursory examination tells you that this is a scroll of gate.
Oh my.
Scroll of Gate.
Yes. Which is a very high level spell, which allows the opening of a portal between two locations, including potentially planes. It is also sometimes used in a summoning ritual associated with bringing in a being, potentially a powerful being from another plane, such as a demon or a devil or some sort of an elemental.
But am I right in thinking that once used, the scroll disintegrates?
Yes, although the scroll, this particular scroll can also be copied by a wizard,
Say less.
but you wouldn't be able to copy it until you're at the level to do so, to cast the spell.
Very
So
sad.
that's just sort of the standard copying rules, I think, right?
Yeah, no, it is.
Well, it makes sense. If you were like a journeyman, you can understand something that's, 10 levels above your pay grade type of thing.
Oh, no, definitely, but it would make less for us to carry.
Well, once you've copied it, the scroll is destroyed, so you wouldn't be able to use it.
Yeah, so we could use it to open the portal, but then we might not be able to get back.
Right. Unless we go into this plane of water, and then we could use it then to get out. If we wanted to do that. I'm not saying that we should do that. I'm just saying, like, that's a way that it could be used.
Aegeus comes over and says, "What have you got there?" And he immediately...
Hide it.
Some old damp paper.
roll a... let's see, I think that's a athletics check versus... I think that's like a sort of a grapple check, essentially. So who wants to roll for Aegeus?
I'll do it.
And Joe, you can roll for yourself. You can roll either. Thanks, Emma. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, Joe. You've. There you go. All right. So, where, Joe? How does Cora keep it away from Aegeus?
Well, I presume she's taller than him. Yes.
He's about 6 feet tall, but if Cora's wearing high heels, then she's probably a little bit taller than he is.
Okay, so I'm just going to hold it up in the air with one hand, and the other hand is literally going to be planted sort of on the top of his head and forehead, just keeping him at arm's length at bay. As if to go, nah, this is mine, dude.
This game is fantastic.
He's
Oh,
like
no, I love
flailing
it.
both arms, trying to reach you. Like, oh, no, that's not the deal. We said all the magic items go to me. I need to be able to make some money off of this venture. Get your hands out of my face. And he swats your hand away. Meanwhile, Zagig just sits down, scoops up a handful of sand, and starts feeding it into himself like it's popcorn watching the shenanigans. And then spitting it out because it's disgusting. What do you guys want to do?
Well, I'm going to put the scroll in my backpack
But
and tie it so tight with a knot that and what have you, that Aegeus cannot just steal it. She says, hopefully.
that's not the deal we had.
I mean, she did save you by healing you.
Do you really think that if I had entered into a deal like this and she hadn't saved me, that would have meant she was absolved of her responsibilities?
I mean, but then you'd be dead and you would have got nothing.
I wouldn't be in this situation if I hadn't listened to all of you. I'd be happily flying about shooting these giant lizards who are stuck on the ground at no risk to my personal body.
Well, in any case, there's a big pile of gold, and doing some quick maths, I've figured out how much the 5 of us would take each.
No, that wasn't the deal either, remember? You get 60% and I get the other 40% of the treasure. All the magic and 40% of the gold and gems and all the valuable items.
Right, okay.
You can have my gold. I'm keeping the scroll.
The scroll is worth far more than the gold, potentially. What kind of scroll is it? Let me see.
I keep pressing down his forehead and nope, not going to see it. And I'm going to turn away from him.
He grabs your wrist and he licks your fingers. Not because it's romantic, but because he's trying to get you to stop putting your hand on his face.
Well, I'm going to wrench my wrist away from him, and I'm going to just put my hand down his face to wipe the wet from his tongue back onto his own face.
Ugh. Disgusting.
Exactly, so don't do it again.
Counting coins.
The shield spell goes up. Look, if it's a very valuable scroll, it could easily be the equivalent of this entire treasure pile. And you know how much money I need to build this. We had an agreement. Do you not follow through with agreements? I thought you were lawful good.
No, I'm lawful neutral.
Well, then it should be even more important because it's really just about the law. And the law is equivalent to anything else or supersedes it.
Wouldn't the parts from an extra dragon compensate? And all these little babies?
They're roasted beyond all recognition. And secondly, all of this is part of the agreement. The magic items were separately carved out, and clearly that must be magical if you care about it so much. At least let me see it.
Fine. And I'll hand it to him, knowing full well I'm not going to get it back.
Well, in fairness, you did make an agreement.
I did.
Oh, this is a gate spell. Oh, this is very powerful. Oh, yes. And he gives it back to you briefly. He says, hold this. And he puts down his rucksack, pulls out an abacus, and starts doing some calculations. Oh. Ooh. I think this could be easily worth 7,000 gold pieces to the right party. Maybe even 8. Then again, if... I don't know. I think if we were to go through the portal, we would need this to get back. And unfortunately, I can't cast that spell yet. But I'm much more likely to be able to get to being able to cast this spell than the rest of you, is my guess. Unless Professor Fizzle, I've misunderstood your capabilities.
Sure, if I want to divulge that information quite yet.
He's going to roll insight. Joe, roll insight for Aegeus.
Nice.
You know, I used to be able to read you when we were having our one-on-one student-teacher meetings, but now with that beard in the way...
And I could have definitely changed as a person through these adventures.
I suppose the outside certainly changed. Why not the inside? Look, we had a deal. The magic items go to me. You get to keep 60% of all the treasure. And all the animals that live on the island get to stay the way they are.
Oh, wait, we get 60%? I thought you said you got 60%.
No, I get the magic items and 40% of the gold, and you get 60% of the gold.
Meridian starts recounting coins. No, okay.
You're doing a lot of math today, Emma.
Thank you.
Meridian's like opening up, using minor illusion, and you see like this white image in front of her face with lots of little rectangles and numbers popping up in the rectangles and then adding up at the bottom. I can see the value of using this if we wanted to go through the portal, but I can't go in right now. I've got to deal with all these other body parts before they decay and become useless. Now, if you want to go through the portal, you can certainly try to come back through here, but the spell probably would be more useful to you in case you get stuck someplace. But it is extremely valuable. And I have to tell you, the plane of water is not a location I visited myself. I am not certain I would be comfortable going there on my own now. With as many as you have, perhaps you could survive and do just as well, if not better, than I might. But I will offer you a deal. If we get back and I can have the scroll, which is part of the deal we had, I will allow you to copy it as and when you're able to do so, if you get there. I will copy it to my spell book first, and in the future you may copy it to yours.
Seems
Meanwhile,
reasonable.
I will also pay you each. Similar to how Meridian and I had a deal, if you will help me get all the various bits back to the mainland. The nearest port is Nyanzaru, and that's about a day and a half of sailing. It'll require a bit of work, and well, you never know what you might encounter on the way. I certainly can't carry it all, and I certainly cannot man the small boat that I've got by myself. So if you help me do all this, then we can probably work out a deal where you get some extra gold in your pockets, and I'll be able to monetize some of these additional items, and everybody should be happy. And we can leave this portal here undisturbed and come back to it at a later time.
I have
I'm gonna-
something that can influence our decision.
Oh.
Alright. I'll look at the Triton that's been standing off in the corner. Joey. Is this portal two-way or one-way? You're from the water plane, aren't you?
Yeah, I mean, I came through the portal, so, and we just saw that lady get dragged back into it. I mean, I don't know what's on the other side. Hang on one sec. And he sticks his head through the portal. And then he pulls back out, and his hair's all wet. Yeah, it looks like the coast is clear. And he pulls his hair back and just slicks it down.
Okay,
I
spell
think-
needed.
I think I could probably come back through here again, and so could you probably. But this was. I got to tell you, it wasn't easy to get here. There were 10 of us, and a couple of them didn't make it.
Why didn't
The
they
rest of
make
your
it?
party.
Well, I don't know. Snooky disappeared when she saw this other Triton that was really buff, but the rest of them, we were trying to get through this area, and look, I don't want to scare you or nothing, but the plane of water, it's a dangerous place. I mean, these were 2 dragons. If it was just me, obviously I wasn't going to put up much of a fight. But if I had my platoon, he probably could have taken them. But the thing that killed most of my friends and my buddies in our element, we call it an aboleth. It's a very ancient creature. It's huge. It's like I don't know. It's like a giant fish. It's got telepathic abilities. It's been around for thousands of years. Not good. We were trying to sneak past it to figure out what the cause was because it was behaving extremely erratically, and it was causing all these other Sahagwin, the evil fish people, if you don't know, to behave even more aggressively than normal. They all had black gills and they had this weird look in their eyes, and we think this is the source.
A chance be the I could be getting confused with another campaign. The madness.
Yeah, I mean, what madness are you talking? They definitely were acting very mad.
Because wasn't it with the black goop in the temple? Weren't they also acting kind of erratically because of the goop?
Now you're asking Joey Fishes?
I'm asking my party, kind of out to my
okay.
party. Could I be remembering it correctly?
Joe's the only person who's going to be able to answer that because Emma wasn't
Yeah.
there, obviously.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You all right, Joe?
Yeah, I zoned out for a second. I apologise.
Shall we take a little 10-minute break?
Do you mind?
Yeah, that's fine. Everything okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. All right, let's take a little break.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Okay. I'm back.
Hello.
Me
Hello.
too. Apologies for zoning out.
It's okay. Is everything all right there?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's been one of those days, and my concentration level's a bit shot.
Oh,
I'm-
okay.
I'm back in the room.
Okay. No, that's fine. It sounded like maybe you had some bad news or something, so I didn't want to. But as long as it's not nothing
No,
bad,
no.
that's fine.
No, I'm all good. I'm just
Just exhaustion.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Uh,
I think we're just waiting on Maddie.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, okay, great.
It just took a minute. I was walking back to my bedroom.
No worries. Alrighty.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Yes. So Satina was asking Cora about the madness associated with the mold, I guess.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
madness is kind of so when I was in Neverwinter, we found that a lot of the crops grown in the ground were somehow poisoned with this madness. It was almost like they were grown with it. So if you ate any of that, then the madness would start to overtake you. So who knows whether this could be part of that or not.
Did the madness you experienced, did that show any like physical symptoms?
The madness itself?
Well, like from eating the crops or whatever. The people that were overtaken by it, did they show any physical symptoms that you remember?
Not that I remember. I mean, it was more of they acted really strangely. They weren't, if you knew the person, they weren't themselves, and you could tell they weren't being themselves.
Okay.
And it would, from what I remember, it could start off quite sort of low level, but would get worse.
Okay. So it could be, but it could also not be. So
There were some physical symptoms, not always visible because people tend to wear clothing. So people had, discoloration on their skin, for example.
Ah, right. Just trying to remember.
Yeah, it seems like a while ago that we dealt with this because you're in a part of the world that hasn't really been affected with it by it so much.
Well then.
Yeah, it certainly had a physical effect on the land. Basically, trees are now bare. Looks like a desolate wasteland in a lot of areas.
Right. Very good,
and
Joe.
And it's spreading.
okay.
Yes. Yeah, it looks there's literally slimy mold throughout a huge swathe of Neverwinter Forest. Like everything just looks like it's covered in it almost looks like an oil spill.
Okay. Sorry, I'm writing.
No worries. It's good that you're writing it. And you'll recall as well within the Drow temple that you saw mold growing everywhere.
Right. And I took it in my little canister.
Yes. And there was also a very high incidence, if you may recall, of jellies and puddings and animated molds of various species.
Mm-hmm.
Well then, how's about we help Aegeus get all these dragon bits back and decide where to go from there?
That's probably not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Also,
seems
here
reasonable.
is the divvied up gold. I put it in chat.
Nice.
Such.
Yeah, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Well-
Your 40% is promised, Aegeus, and I also accounted for Dallin. So
You
Well, that
also
was nice.
accounted for
for Dallin, so the four of
for
us.
Dallin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
What does that equal
Okay.
in weight?
Yes. good question. So the way it works is each 50 coins of any denomination is supposed to be £1. So using, I haven't actually done the per person calculation, but using Emma's calculation, and well done you, Emma, and thank you. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. It looks like about 10 pounds worth of weight. Now you can always divvy things up differently, by denomination, so that some people get more value out of the coins they pick up. You do have some folks who have the ability to carry some things for you if you ask them nicely, or force them to a sword point, or or spell point, as it were.
15 times your strength.
Yeah, your total carrying capacity, if you're walking normally, is 15 times your strength for a medium-sized creature. If you're a large-sized creature, you double that, and if you're huge, you double it again. If you have a special racial ability, which I don't think any of you guys do, you might be able to double your carrying capacity as well. Like Furbolgs, I think, have that, and Goliaths. Also, if you are pushing it, which you won't be doing here because it's very inefficient, but if you were pushing something, in theory, you're supposed to double it also. So you can push twice as much as you can carry.
So it's 15 times your strength, not your, how much your character weighs?
Yeah, in the game, it has nothing to do with... It's not a physics engine, right? In fact, in the game, the only time weight matters is when it comes to your inventory. Things like weight make no difference at all in terms of, can you push an opponent with the shove maneuver, or can you carry them? You can carry them. Carrying is based on carrying weight, but if you were like doing something else, like a battle maneuver, it wouldn't make any difference what the weight is, which is, I agree with you, it's weird. But at some point, they had these rules before, and they realized it just slowed the game down too much. Each of the dragon corpses, if you choose to do the flensing and separation now, can be reduced to sort of 1/3 their original weight. He doesn't need everything. Most of the muscle tissue he doesn't need. It's mostly collecting organs, sometimes things like the skull, or the skull and the spine and the wing bones. But he doesn't need, the big, thick thighs and tail bits that much.
And how long would it take us to do that for all the...
Well, that's a good question. It depends a little bit on everybody's survival skill, because I'm going to say that's what the relevant skill checks is. He's got some ability to do it because he's got that little diagram that he's been using, and he's got some experience doing it with the dinosaurs. The rest of you have no experience. Meridian may have some experience, but she obviously doesn't remember. Mm-hmm. What's Meridian's actual background again?
My actual background is urchin, I believe.
Yeah, so that's not really relevant. And the other two of you don't really have relevant skills either, I don't think.
No, probably not.
Yeah, you'd have to be like a craftsman, some kind of tradesperson, or maybe, somebody who's like they're like the hermit trait might give you some advantages. Maybe if you're a hunter or chef background, but if you don't have any of those, then probably not. Your Dragonborn companion has had some experience working for Aegeus, so he can help you, and he can certainly do it on his own. The rest of your party, the Triton isn't going to have any real insight into this because he's not really seen dragons before walking through this portal. Hrimfaxi isn't in a position to help you. Cud could possibly do it, but he's more of the sort of smash and bash kind.
That's
I
fair.
like that. Smash and bash.
Well, Aegeus, I guess it's up to you. Do you want us to dissect them or drag the full bodies back?
Well, each of the bodies weighs 100 pounds, so that's 900 pounds right there.
Oh, I was talking about the adults.
Oh, the adults, well, we've got to deal with that when we get to the surface, and the longer we wait, the more likely something interesting is going to happen to the bodies. So actually, we need to get up there soon.
I agree. We should go back to the surface.
Let's get out of
And-
here.
Can you carry all the gold and the dragon bodies?
I'll toss my gold into my backpack.
Okay.
Mm.
Does
I can
everybody else
carry
have
a
capacity?
dragon body.
100 pounds on top of everything you already have?
Never mind. I thought it was like 90. Yeah. Never mind.
So the way to look is if you just do a quick calculation on your there's two ways you can do it. You can do the calculation of strength, which we talked about, 15 times your strength. So
Mhm.
if you have an 8 strength, that would be 80, 40, 120 pounds.
Right.
And then subtract out whatever you've already got in your inventory in the
Right.
bottom column. Otherwise, you could just add an item and then make sure you type in 100 in the weight in the inventory. Baby dragon body. Grimfaxi has got some stuff, I think, from Dallin, but I don't know off the top of my head what Dallin's got. But Cud can probably carry some things. You guys did not rescue the bag of gold that Cud was carrying earlier when he fell into the river, right?
No, but that's okay.
It was a lot of gold. Oh my God, it was such a huge, that was a huge amount.
chunk.
It was thousands and thousands. Yeah, I'm just looking up Dallin's 100. Dallin is going to be screwed when she becomes a full-on druid. And her stats change. Yep. From paladin to druid. 18 to 8 strength score.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, she's got to put it in something else. That's why. So Hrimfaxi is basically carrying some stuff for Dallin, but he can carry. He can easily carry. Well, I guess 1,000-pound horse can easily carry 400 pounds, right? I mean, you can ride double if you need to. So
Could we not use a floating disc to do the rest?
well, not for the vertical portion.
Meridian's just strong enough to drag one of the baby Rimlings along with everything else she has.
Okay, so that's 1. Yep. So that leaves 8. Aegeus will say that he can probably carry. He thinks he can carry 3 by himself, so that'll leave. So that's 4 altogether. So that'll leave 5.
Did you say the nightmare can carry 4?
He can carry 400 pounds. He's already carrying some stuff for Dallin, so he could probably carry maybe another 2.
And could carry the other 3?
I think that leaves 2. So yeah, Cud could probably carry 2. Yep. Joey Fishes is going to look at all of you and say, "Look, I appreciate you letting me go." And then he looks, "You are letting me go, right?"
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't be your willing prisoner, but it's a bit dry out here, if you know what I mean.
We have no quarrels with you. Put in a good word for us in the water plane. We might join you one day.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are quite a few realms that have Triton cities, but if you ever come across any Tritons, everybody knows me. I'm Joey Fishes. But don't mention me to the Sahagin. I think I owe some guy some money.
All right, Joey Fishes. I'll remember you.
I may have to create a slightly more serious sounding name at some point.
So we've
All
got
right.
Cud with 2, Nightmare with 2, Aegeus with 3,
I can carry one as well.
and Meridian 1. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 8. Is that right? Is that 8 of them?
Sounded like there were 2 left after Hrimfaxi. So Cud could probably carry 2 since he's not carrying a whole lot himself. But that assumes all the gold has to be carried by the rest of you. Oh, Aegeus can't carry 3 because he's got to carry his share of the gold. So he won't be able to carry anything. So that'll leave another 3 actually. So Cud can carry 2 definitely, but he can't carry more than I think he can carry about 600 pounds. So he can probably carry about 4 by himself. So that leaves I think that still leaves 1 or 2.
If Cud does 4 and Nightmare does 2 and Meridian does 1, that's 7.
Could Zagig carry any? Zagig.
Yeah, he can. So he's got full armor on. He technically has plate mail armor, so he's actually pretty heavily encumbered. He's got capacity, but he can't carry a full body.
If I drop the copper pieces, then I can.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, why bother?
I'm gonna do that. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. So I'll carry that last body.
Okay, so Tina can carry 1. But you said there was... Is there 8 or is there 9?
They're 9 total. This one was over here.
So we've got 8 then. Cud's got 4, Nightmare's 2, Meridian 1, Tina 1. But you said that the Triton can't carry a full one.
The Triton. The Triton's not coming with you.
Not the Triton.
The Dragonborn.
The Dragon Ball, yeah.
Yeah. Because he's wearing plate mail. And he's got other stuff.
Yeah.
He looks like the paladin that he claims to be.
What the fuck?
So we're gonna have to leave one behind then.
Is that alright with you, Aegeus?
Oh. I mean, if we leave all of the copper pieces behind, it's like 700. It's like 7 gold pieces. 700 copper is like 7 gold pieces.
Yeah, but that 700 is actually split between several people, so it doesn't then...
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's like 700 copper pieces weighs about how much does it weigh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 14.
Wow, that takes down nothing.
Why can't I do the math?
14-ish pounds.
Yeah, that's not going to make a difference. Oh, all right.
All right, let's get out of this place. Oh.
And Joey jumps through the portal, says, "Yeah, see ya."
Bye then.
Splash.
I had to get rid of some of my gold to be able to carry this dragon.
No, don't get rid of your gold. I mean,
Well,
the
I
silver.
started out with 380, right?
The silver and the copper is.
Oh, I got rid of that.
Oh, you got rid of the silver and the copper?
Yeah, I got rid of the silver and the copper, and then it left me with like 580 for my gold pieces. And I had to take it down to 250 in order to be able to carry it.
580, 250.
I could probably take your coins.
So just to be clear, everybody understands what Emma's written here. Emma, you're saying
Yes.
each individual person gets 108 CP.
Yeah.
122 silver and 283 gold pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So
from
you're-
60% of what was left. Aegeus got the other 40%. Undivided.
Right. Okay. Right. So Aegeus's 289 is 40% of the total.
Yeah.
And then the 108, 122, 283, that represents 60% split 5 ways.
4 ways between the 4 party members.
Oh, sorry, 4 ways, right?
Yeah.
Dowling. Yep. Okay.
So losing the copper and the silver is like £5, £4.60 in
Mhm.
weight.
1, 2, 3, 4,
230
5, 6,
coins.
7, 8, 16. No, it's like 30, 40 pounds. No?
For 50 coins, it was £1. So that'd be 2 for
230 coins is.
I'm gonna guess that this is not going to be an exciting episode for people.
Okay.
It's a whole lot of math.
We're just doing math.
I can tell you exactly how much each of us is carrying from our portion. We are all
30
carrying
pounds.
about 10 pounds.
It's 30 pounds. So all the silver and copper amongst all of you that you picked up from this thing is about 30 pounds worth of weight.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that Satina's copper and silver that she was going to discard
Mm-hmm.
so that she could carry is worth £4.6 because it's 230 coins.
Right.
So I'm saying she could give that to me and I'll carry it for her.
Oh,
Okay.
Because
thank you.
I've got a little bit of room, but I certainly haven't got enough to be able to carry a £100.
Well, I don't need you to carry my copper or silver, but if you can carry like 2 or 3 pounds worth of gold, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna
yeah.
put that in my notes rather than in my coinage.
Thank you.
For reference, the coins I just gave out for each of us is carrying about 10 pounds worth. If you don't get rid of the copper and silver and such.
Yeah, I
Yep.
got 9.
So do you
And
want
that
me
was
to,
rounding.
so do you want me to carry 200 gold pieces?
If you can, that would
Yeah.
be marvelous.
Yeah.
So it's not a total waste.
Yeah.
Carry.
So once again, you guys are literally just like stuffing like individual coins anywhere you can. Your
Mhm.
your pockets are bulging. You've got stuff flowing out of your backpack. Some of you have tried to jerry-rig little sacks from blankets that you've taken all 4 corners and tied up. Shoving things into places that don't normally hold coins, like scroll tubes.
We're gonna have to convert some of this once we get back to civilization.
Yeah. Or spend it.
That's
And-
true.
Shopping episode.
And
Yay!
Because
I'm
you
excited. I've never had
because
that.
we're women and that's what we do.
Yay!
I'm so glad you said that. I was never going to go there.
Do a shopping montage.
Everybody loves a shopping episode. I've done it many
Absolutely.
times. All
I've
right.
never been in like a campaign and actually got to do a shopping episode because we never usually made it past the 3rd session. So I'm
Oh.
very excited.
I will assure you, if you guys do get to Port Nyanzaru, I've got something really fun planned.
Alright, so who wants to go to Port Nyanzaru?
Heard that.
I had something fun planned if you didn't go to Port Nyanzaru, but if you do,
But it's always fun.
oh, thank you, Joe.
But it is. I'm not saying that to
Just
No,
be
I-
nice.
I appreciate that. No, I do try to make it varied, though. That's the key, right? I do things that are different week. Maybe not every single week, but like the dream sequence where you all got to play somebody else.
you change it
that was
up.
fun.
Yeah.
And Joe will tell you some of the other episodes we've done on the Saturday session were pretty unusual and hopefully
Oh, the marriage.
the
That was
marriage.
hilarious.
The Siege of Neverwinter, where you guys all got to be polymorphed.
Oh yeah. I can't remember what I was. Was I a crocodile?
Somebody was a crocodile. Most of you turned into mammoths and started
Yeah.
just stomping on orcs.
I-
Wow.
Like an angry snuffleupagus.
And didn't we have like a big? Was it a bear?
Yeah.
I think I was the croc.
I think you might have been the crocodile. Yeah, because you were different. Because your level was different from the rest of the party. Everybody else
Yeah.
was roughly the same, so they all turned into mammoths. But you were like a gigantic, and you just like swallowed a whole bunch of the guys. But
Yeah,
Mary
Joe?
was like Mary ended up like turning into a mammoth and stomping through a house.
That was when Michael died, and no, it wasn't. It was that after, because we had Michael died, and the people from Faerun came and revivified him.
Yeah, but none of that was all of that was pre-planned, so it wasn't a surprise. It wasn't like I had a Deus Ex
It
Machina.
was for me.
Well, yeah, it was for you guys. It was, but it was no surprise, right, when all the reinforcements showed up, because you guys knew that there was something coming. So it wasn't like you were suddenly, oh, that's weird. Okay, cool. Let's see. Where's the bloody map? Oh, right there you go. There you are. I was watching Interview with a Vampire yesterday. Again.
Doesn't that have Brad Pitt in it?
It
Yeah.
does. A
And
young Brad
Kirsten
Pitt.
Dunst.
Yeah, Kirsten Dunst when she's a baby, basically.
She was 14. He was her first kiss.
Really?
Yeah.
Your first kiss is Brad Pitt?
No. Yeah. Yeah, but
that's going
can
to
you-
spoil
but can
you
you
forever,
imagine-
isn't it?
because what was she? Was she? I can't remember if she was 10, 11, or whether she was 14. But she was very young, and she was very not into this like 30-year-old guy as he was then, or what.
Well, that's
right.
fair.
It was a bit kind of
There
dodgy.
was a creepy element to the story, so it made sense. Yeah, so I'm going to put you guys up here. So you managed to all swim back up to the surface. Big breath of fresh air. And you see Clarissa.
Was she not sleeping in her coffin?
She was,
She
but you
was?
guys have been down there a long, long, long time. Remember, it took hours and hours to count through all the coins.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And she's just sitting on the edge of her coffin, dangling her feet. And she looks up at you. Oh, you're all back. I'm so pleased. We seem to be missing a few. I suppose that happens sometimes.
We gained a new friend, though.
Oh, yes. And she walks up to Zagig. Oh, lawful good. Spicy.
Please don't scare him.
You'll get used to it.
And he just like cowers away from her. And then he bumps into somebody. He bumps into Meridian, and then he bumps into Satina. And he's like, he looks like he doesn't know where to go. And then he walks over here, tries to hide behind the coffin before he realizes the sarcophagus is a coffin. And he stumbles away from that as well.
This poor guy.
Meridian, I feel very uncomfortable here.
And look at Calista and go, oh, look what you've done.
Oh, I didn't mean anything by it. I was just teasing. You know how I am.
There.
Yes,
I'll
we know how you are.
Is anybody injured or hurt? I could help clean the wounds.
Aegis is. I mean, he might need some help.
And he looks at you and looks at Clarissa and doesn't say a word, but he violently shakes his head back and forth.
Worse.
She scares me. She's like my 11th grade math teacher. Right. Well, looks like we're going to have to start carving up the bodies. Problem is, we already have we've got a lot of stuff here, and we don't really have the ability to carry anything more.
Well, which is the most valuable?
It's all valuable. I mean, other than obviously the gold's the most valuable, but I mean, some of these organs like the liver and especially the glands behind the what you would call probably the voice box that help produce some of the bile. That's really valuable. The heart, some of the eyes.
The liver.
Yeah, Cessna does like the liver. I mean, Cessna does some amazing stuff with dragon livers.
So why don't we carve them up and then you take the stuff that's like the most valuable?
Yeah, but we don't have enough capacity to carry it all to the coast. I think we're going to need to do 2 trips.
And I vote. You're the master here of decisions, so you pick out which is the most valuable for us to bring, and we'll leave what I'm assuming is probably going to be a couple of these Rimlings behind, and we can come back later for them if they're still here.
Well, there's that, and hear me out, you let me have some of your henchmen, and he kind of hints over at Cud, and Cud, hearing this, goes, moo, and maybe, the fiery horse over there, and I'll lead them to the coast. It shouldn't take more than sort of a day and a half, drop everything off, and then leave a couple of them there. You lot guard the rest of the main dragon bodies and carve them up, and we'll come back and get the rest of you. That should work. I can fly back. No, wait, that's not going to help because we need to carry it. Oh, this is a mess.
You not have any other helpers?
He looks at you, and then he points at Oscar, who's laying there still, cut up in pieces. I did, and somebody killed him.
He tried to kill me first. You would have been down one either way. At least I won't try to stab you in the back.
Damn dragonborn logic. Look, I don't know what to tell you. This is what I have. Every one of these organs is worth at least their weight in gold.
You'd have to persuade Cud to do that. And the Nightmare probably won't go anywhere without Darlin.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't Dallin bring them back then?
Well, here's the alternative. You all go to the coast, and I'll stay here and guard these things because I can do it by myself.
And you're also probably more experienced carving them up.
Well, I mean, and he looks like he's blushing briefly. I've been known to fillet a steak or two as he examines his fingernails.
Sounds like a better plan. However, we're not going to be able to bring Clarissa's coffin back, so you'll have to stay with her.
Clarissa looks at the very potent wizard, and she says, "Oh, I like the sound of that.
I'll help you guard.
Aegea says, oh, this is not. Look, can't you just take her with you and bring her back? I'll keep track of the coffin. I'm not going anywhere with it.
You would have to convince her of that.
She's part of your group.
It's her
You can't-
coffin.
She can't come with us without her coffin. She can't be in the sunlight.
Or you could travel at night.
Yeah, that's pretty dangerous for the rest of us. You'll be fine here with her. Be fine.
You
She'll
don't want to
behave.
have a vampire help you guard the bodies? Isn't that sick? So cool. Who can say that?
But what if she tries to bite me in the night? I need to sleep, you know.
You won't.
And Clarissa looks at all of you and winks. Of course not. I would never do that.
We've slept next to her before. She hasn't bidden us then.
Only with consent.
Only with consent.
I don't consent. I don't consent.
Well, then she won't bite you.
Yeah. She's respectful.
Yeah, because all vampires follow that rule.
Well, we're not talking about all vampires, are we? We're talking about her.
Yeah, way to stereotype Aegeus.
Yeah, right?
Wait. Why is this about me all of a sudden?
Because you're being vampirist.
You heard it here first, folks. If you didn't have enough things to die on a hill about being vampirists.
Absolutely. What sort of time of day is it? I mean, can we sort of like?
It's getting on dusk. It's
Yeah.
almost nighttime.
So I would vote that we make camp, have some of this dragon meat, fill our bellies, have a good night's sleep, and then we'll head off in the morning to the coast, and Aegeus can stay here with Clarissa and guard the rest of the stuff that we can't carry.
All right, look. We've got to have a plan to have 3 groups eventually, because we need to have somebody here, somebody transporting back and forth and basically providing a convoy protection, and then somebody at the camp. There's nobody at the camp now because all the other Dragonborn are dead.
Well, it's not good to split the party.
Well, I'm used to operating by myself, so I can handle one leg of it. I can guard this area here and carve up some dragons while you're doing the convoying, but you'll have to figure out how you're going to handle it. Maybe some of your friends can stay at the camp. The camp should be fairly secure. The most dangerous part of it is going to be in the jungles here and on the way back and forth.
How about we leave Zagging and Cud then to...
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
I'm sure that the rest of
at
us
the
can
camp.
Yeah, and I'm sure the rest of
Yeah.
us could manage to bring the rest back.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Well, that's fine, but Cud actually can do most of the heavy lifting. He's more valuable in the convoy, isn't he? Now, I get this thing about your lady friend. And as he says it, he's obviously looking over his shoulder. How about this? In the first group, you go tonight while she can walk, so you don't have to carry her, and she can help you carry some things, and she's probably very strong from what I remember about vampires. And she's certainly capable enough to take care of herself. You travel at night, you take the sarcophagus, You can probably carry a few other things, and all of you go out to the coast. When you get there, you leave her and her sarcophagus, and she's going to be able to guard it with the Dragonborn. I mean, you don't mind, do you, Zagig? And he looks at all of you and just goes, oh, and he faints. And you come back and you get me and the rest of the bodies. You'll leave most of the bodies here, but I'll be dealing with setting up alarms and carving up the body parts, and it should be fine.
But I agree with you. Let's bring Clarissa back. As long as we drop the bodies in the shade for her, in a shady area. She seemed to have guarded these quite well herself for the while we've been gone, and frankly, I don't think Zagig can tolerate that. He might die of a heart attack, and I don't want the last member of my troop dying, no offense. So, Clarissa, would you be willing to watch the bodies for another night or two? You know, feast on anything that would happen to be looking for a midnight snack?
Well, I really can't survive off of these animals. I'd need something to whet my appetite. But I could be persuaded if we all had a little toast. And she goes back to her sarcophagus, fishes around inside it, and comes back with a very large, what appears to be beautifully carved crystal goblet, and what looks to be a very elaborately enameled and bejeweled dagger that she holds out and says, I'm happy to do it the old-fashioned way, but for something this momentous, I think we should make it a little ritual. And she looks at each of you and says, go on, hold out your arms.
What is this supposed to do? You want to collect our blood so that you can have it later?
Yes, I'll need a little sustenance. It's been a long time.
But that's going to have an adverse effect on our fighting capabilities, which we're going to need if we travel at night.
Well, it
You'll
is
be
fine.
fine.
No, it won't be fine, Clarissa. How about you help us out, and then when we return back to the camp, once we've transported all the bodies, then we'll give you consent.
I feel faint. And she starts to dramatically lift her arm up to her forehead, leans her head back, and starts falling back towards Meridian.
Compromise. I'll give you a bit of mine.
Does Meridian try to catch Clarissa?
No.
And she
But I will
collapses on the
talk to her
floor.
if she falls.
And she collapses on the floor and then looks up at you and goes, well, I never.
I'll just keep
So
talking to
not
her.
quite as faint as you first made out, then.
I'll keep talking, even though she's fallen. And I'll say, I'll give you a bit of mine as a down payment, the old-fashioned way, as you call it. And then how about we give you the rest?
And before you even finish the sentence, she just like chomps on your arm.
Yeah, okay.
And as you're speaking, you suddenly feel the coldness as the blood drains out of your body and the necrosis associated with her natural ability to help the blood avoid coagulation. It's not like anything you've ever experienced before. It is both slightly ecstatic as well as deeply disturbing. You feel cold in your bones, even though you're in a tropical jungle and it is steamy and humid and super hot. You begin shivering uncontrollably as you take 7 points of necrotic damage, and your hit point total is reduced by 7 points,
Right.
which for
I
you
really
is quite a lot.
Yeah. I really hope she gets brain freeze. That's all I can say.
And she suddenly does. Oh, oh, oh! I've never had a white dragonborn before. Oh, I have to remember to drink slower next time.
Is there any way I can heal that?
Well, you can heal the damage, but the total is if she's injured. But her total, if she was at maximum hit points, her maximum hit points are now reduced by 7.
Until she's had a long rest.
Well, mechanically, you know that that's what happens.
Yeah, okay.
Done is done. There's your down payment. Let's move out.
Like we used to have these delightful desserts that we would partake of in the summertime back in Thay. They were made with shaved ice and sometimes would include liqueurs or sweetened juices from fruits. Reminded me of that. And she wipes her mouth. Good.
Ow.
So you've got this thing, which I think we talked about. Weighed how much? Was it like 1,000 pounds? That's at least. It's got to be at least 1,000 pounds. Stone sarcophagus. That's probably more like 2 tons, really. So between Cud and Hrimfaxi, that'll be dragging most of that, and you can probably carry with the rest of you. Aegeus will stay behind. This. Even Clarissa will help to pull her own coffin, although she does occasionally actually ride on top of it. And you can also use your floating disc, which one of you has, I believe.
I don't have floating disc. Tara had floating disc. I don't know.
She who shall not be named. I thought you copied it.
I don't.
We had
think
2
it
floating
is.
discs at one time, didn't we?
Yeah,
At one
you did.
time, yeah. And then I started messing around with my spells, and I no longer have floating disc.
But if you copied it, then you'd still have it.
I think I just originally had it. I think that was one of those spells that I had in the beginning.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Any ritual spell that you had before Eleanor had, you can just copy it before the spell book is gone.
Oh, word. Okay.
Because ritual spells are meant to be, they're purely utility. You can't realistically use them in combat unless you'd already prepared in advance. I do use them in combat, so there's definitely a way to do it. There's more than one way to do it, in fact. If you read the description really carefully, there's actually a couple of clever, creative things that I'll allow you to do, which if you want to try them out sometime. Situational, but it's definitely going to work. But if there are any other ritual spells, and I'll open the character sheet up, and you can do this between now and next week.
Thank you.
No problem. And of course, you just have to make sure you deduct your cash, which will actually help with the weight problem.
Yes, it would.
So it's a win-win for everybody.
I love spells. This is great.
Yeah. I mean, it's not Chaos Bolt, but...
No, but that's okay.
Chaos Bolt is pretty cool. I've never seen it used before, and I have to say, Emma, you do a very good job using it. And also converting sorcery points, which is very smart. It's the thing about sorcerers that makes them cool. But the thing about wizards is that they are the ultimate toolbox, right? There is literally no scenario where a properly prepared wizard can't be valuable or useful, even in a hand-to-hand fight. So definitely explore that. So you'll be able to have your floating disc, and Aegeus will also let you have a peek at his spell book for
Okay.
the purposes of copying a couple of things, but it'll be after you guys get back.
Okay.
Because right now he wants everybody sort of all in one place, so we're not split up. And he needs to get you guys to the coast and to Port Nyanzaru, because all this stuff is starting to go bad.
So we're transporting 5 of them on the floating disc?
Each floating disc can carry 500 pounds maximum. How were you doing this thing originally? The coffin. What did we say it was? 1,000 pounds? I think we said it must have been 1,000 pounds or something.
Right. I think, didn't you say like Cud and Nymphaxi?
I think it's Hrimfaxi.
Nymphaxi?
Yeah. They were doing it,
that
right?
that they could
Okay.
carry it.
All right, so they're carrying it, and Clarissa is not in it, so you can carry one extra inside of it. She protests at the use of it as a food container. Oh, but it'll smell so horrible. It'll smell like death. And then she realizes what she's saying. But you know what I mean. Different death.
Yeah.
And your dragonborn colleague can't carry a dragon wormling by himself, but he can carry other things if somebody has something they need him to carry. And the rest of you have got your own stuff to deal with. Oh, yeah, and Dallin's got he'll help Dallin carry some of her stuff. Uh,
5 on the floating disc, 1 in the coffin, and then that leaves 3. Could we carry 3?
No, you can't carry. So the way it'll be distributed now is Dallin was using Hrimfaxi to carry most of her stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But she, having gone through some metamorphosis that you still don't fully understand, although it does have something to do with the mold, she's no longer what she was. So she's become very frail, but much more malleable. So she could turn into something that can carry things, but it only seems to last for about an hour, and it's going to take you most of the night to get to the coast and come back.
Mm-hmm.
I can take 1.
I can also take 1.
I cannot.
So
Okay.
if each of you can take 1, you'll be taking the stuff that Hrimfaxi was helping to carry. Because Dallin literally has 200 pounds worth of gear.
Oh my.
Well, she's a pack rat. She literally collects everything, right?
Right.
Which is useful. So you guys will basically be able to help Dallin carry her stuff, especially now that she's got a broken ankle. So you can carry 6 wormlings between the one that you can fit in the sarcophagus and the 5 on the floating disc, which you can recast over and over again and repile on. And Clarissa will agree, much to her dislike, to drag one behind her.
What an image.
This is the hardest I have ever worked in my life. It's going to ruin my nails. And that'll leave 2 gigantic dragons that he's going to keep working on, as well as 2 little baby wormlings, 1 dragonborn that may or may not have anything worth taking, a couple of kobolds that probably won't have very much worth taking.
Cool. That seems like a pretty solid set.
Yeah, and then when you come back, you'll be able to get all the rest of the stuff, because you'll have about 1,600 pounds worth of spare capacity. 1,500 pounds. So these guys they're gonna, each of these dragons weighs like 8,000 pounds, a couple of tons, few tons, 4 tons. But once you carve it down to like the main components, it'll probably be a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds like we got a plan.
You do. You do have a plan.
So let's
Oh.
get going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's the deal with the marching order? Who's doing what? Is anybody gonna do anything smart about keeping an eye out, or?
Would like to be not the very back, but one from the very back.
I'll go up front because I'm a bit of a tank in terms of armor class
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And hit points right now relative to everybody
and
else.
hit points. Yeah.
You are probably the toughest remaining person in the group currently.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but you're also the primary healer, so you go
I
down,
am.
we all go down, as the saying goes. So keep that in
No
mind.
pressure.
So
Yeah,
what
but
would you
if we
say?
come across something that's going to take me down that easy, then they're going to take us down, aren't they?
Hopefully not, but yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is you guys are pretty much going to be screwed without me.
Well, no,
Get
no. What
boned.
I'm saying is, if
What
I'm
are you saying, Joe? What are you
okay,
saying?
I'm saying if I'm the one with the most hit points and I'm the one that's probably got the highest armor class, if something rips through me that easily, then it's going to annihilate everybody else because they've not got as many hit points or as higher armor class. See what I mean?
I totally understand what you're trying to say. Do keep in mind that not everything is about hit points.
Well, no, that's very true. I mean, they may have other ways and means of protecting themselves that I don't.
Yeah, I mean, you may end up just being sort of taken over,
Yeah, this is true.
which can just be one lucky roll. Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to find my little. I had the map all readied out, but for some reason it's.
Does Meridian have armor?
What?
I'm sorry, that was not English.
Are you all right? So I think Emma's having a stroke.
Should I have given warning before talking to you?
Did you change your language setting?
No, I don't. I don't have armor.
Would you like some?
I don't think I can wear armor.
No, it's magical armor.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, I'm gonna cast aid
Alright.
Mm.
on the three of us.
Well, thank you.
Just gotta check I've got the spell slot there with me. Oh yeah, I do.
Psych. No.
Yeah. Not doing that now.
So this is all before you guys leave, eh?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Okay.
First level or higher, simultaneously, blah, 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 blah. First level or higher, war gets twice the hit points equal to twice. Yeah, okay. Get 2. Oh, I'm already at max. Oh well.
Before we leave, I'm gonna say a little prayer to Hor to help protect us on our way through.
Sure. Yeah. What do you say?
I'm going to take the medallion out of my backpack that I had, to see if I still get the same feeling from it that I did, which I'm presuming I do. And I'm going to say, please, or I believe you're trying to offer me assistance and help and guidance, and I pray to you, and I will follow you if you would deign to help us and help protect us as we go forward.
You sense Hor is not pleased with the weakness in your statement.
Ooh. Does he want it a bit more forceful?
Roll an insight check. I think that's fair.
Yeah. 14.
Hor is the god of vengeance.
Okay.
She clears her throat.
Yeah. So, Hor, if we come across anyone on our travels that wishes us harm, I would be grateful if you would help us seek revenge on those that deem ill will to us.
You get the sense that Hor would feel that this was a good start, but could be improved.
Listen here, you.
You will give us protection.
C-.
We'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so let's have I guess everybody's going to be do you want to, if you move at your normal traveling pace, assuming you take little rests, because you can start recasting. Can you just post, Maddie, would you just post the Tensor's floating disk or the floating disk spell? I just want to be reminded if it.
Can.
I don't think it's concentration.
Give me just a moment.
No worries.
Beep, 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 beep. There it is. I hadn't moved anything over yet.
Oh, no.
I was going to do it after the game.
Oh, it's fine.
Yep. Did that come up
Right.
correctly?
Yep, it did. So there's no concentration. Perfect. So, just as a reminder, if you're currently casting a spell, if you're currently running a concentration spell and you start casting another concentration spell, it would end the first concentration spell. But this is not concentration, so you can cast it while you're walking. So you won't interrupt it. You will have to stop, repile the bodies on, but you can basically have one show up immediately right after the other type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys do that and you move at your normal pace, your perception will not be improved, but you'll be able to get, you think, Aegeus tells you he thinks you can probably get to the coast and back before daybreak, which means you'll be traveling through the night. If you decide to go very carefully, you'll all have advantage on your perception checks, but you'll be going at half speed, essentially.
We'll only make it to the coast.
Yeah, you'll make it to the coast, and then if you want to head back, you'll take twice as long. So it'll take you closer to sort of, 8 hours each way as opposed to 4 hours each way.
Right. I defer to the group.
Sorry, I think I missed something.
Well, there's a question as to how quickly do you want to go? Do you want to travel slowly with advantage on perception checks? Or do you want to move at your normal pace without advantage on perception checks? But it would take you, of course, twice as long to get back and forth.
I think slower would be the better route, right?
Yeah.
Like, it would
Well,
take us longer, but we'd
The
be
meat
less
could go-
likely.
But the meat could go off. Aren't we trying to do this as quickly as possible?
True enough.
I don't want the meat to expire.
Yeah, let's go fast.
All right,
okay.
running back and forth.
All right. So you've got a large party. You're traipsing through the jungle. You're making a lot of noise. You are actually pretty enticing because of the smell, but it hasn't been that long yet. So the meat hasn't started to go off that much. And because you're moving at a good pace, and because you're such a large party and you have to make so much noise, you're pretty much scaring off most of the standard predators.
Sick.
Everybody roll perception checks.
I love the way you said standard predators.
Well, I'll tell you, as somebody who has spent plenty of time camping out in the woods and on safari in Africa and places out in the mountains and open fields, I've had lions come through my camping area. I've had bull mooses walking right up to us in the middle of the night. I've had baboons steal food from us. I've been dive bombed by vultures who took our lunch out of our hands. So they definitely are aggressive, and these are normal animals. 21 perception. Yeah, you basically see everything.
Excellent.
You realize that there is a woman who is in Port Nyanzaru who is yelling at a grocer for selling her a rotten pineapple. No,
You know everything. You are now omniscient.
Yeah. I see through reality.
you see through reality. Yep. You know the secret formula to Coca-Cola. I mean, it is all
I
in
know
front of you.
Victoria's Secret.
You did.
That was really good. It took me by surprise. That was
Victoria's
fantastic.
secret is that she's secretly Victor.
Oh,
Which nowadays isn't such a big deal, but back when we started making that joke, that was pretty funny. You get to the coast, you avoid one or two really big lumbering creatures that they're not quite of the sort of Allosaurus, Tyrannosaurus predator type, but they look like they are just ornery enough to cause problems in case you got a bit too close. You finally arrive at the coast following the instructions as laid out by Aegeus, and as your party member Zagig remembers, based on where Aegeus tells him you guys are currently located, because he didn't really fully understand where he was since they got a bit lost. You all see the coast.
Yes.
There's a little harbor here. There's remnants of a small campfire, and you can see that there is a rather good-sized single-masted sailing vessel just down here in the water. It looks like it's big enough to seat most of you, plus quite a bunch of provisions.
Where we abandon Aegeus and sell all these parts for ourselves, right?
I mean, you guys can do whatever you want.
I'm sure that's a wise move.
That would
No.
be funny. I mean, he's not, by the time he figures it out, it'll be at least a day. You'll get at least a full day ahead of him.
But doesn't he have
Yeah.
that scroll?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to leave that behind.
A deal's a deal.
Yeah, I mean, we should stay true to something.
I think you can stay true to the idea that you're doing the best for yourselves.
That scroll is the best thing for us. And he said he'd let me look at his his spell book.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know about y'all, but like, that sounds really
That sounds-
freaking sick.
Yeah, that sounds a bit awesome.
Oh. You know.
All right then.
Yeah, the camp is, there's some supplies over there, but it's mostly just sort of locked down. Everything's sealed up very, very tightly and carefully to prevent, unwanted intrusion. But at the same time, it looks like there are lots of little animal tracks going through. If anybody is proficient in survival or even nature, maybe they could take a guess as to what they are, but otherwise it's a little bit hard to tell. You can just tell that there's been a lot of things that have been running through the camp site.
Nope.
Excellent.
Survival might be one.
You have survival?
I'm not proficient in it, but I have got a +5.
Okay, I'll let you roll with disadvantage.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, you can tell that there's been some birds because there's a lot of bird poop around there. But there's also tracks that seem to lead in and out in sort of these weird, non-linear pathways. Whether or not and some of it's a bit obscured by the action of the tides, right? So the water comes in, washes some of the tracks away, so you don't get a full picture. But something's definitely running around, and they're not huge. They're, some of them are very, very small, as in, the individual imprints in the sand are maybe the size of one section of your thumb, but there are some that are quite big, maybe even the size of your hand or half your hand.
Should we load this stuff onto the boat?
Yeah, if you put it on the boat, that's a good insight. If you put it on the boat, chances are it will be less likely to be bothered by creatures on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if we put a vampire in front of it.
Clarissa just drops the rope of this dragon wormling that she's been carrying and says, "Oh, I'm so glad you're all having a laugh at my expense." And she flips her red hair.
Right. So are we heading back immediately?
Yeah, it'll take you about probably take you about a half an hour to load the dragon bodies on there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can pile them up. So
You know what? Maybe the salty breeze will do some natural preservation.
Well, if nothing else, it's certainly going to contribute to Clarissa's saltiness. Yeah, how do I turn this thing? Okay.
Like dark out still?
Yes, it is middle of the night, basically.
Cool.
Meridian can no longer see.
Neither can your dragonborn friend who sits at the opposite end of the vessel from Clarissa.
I'm gonna pick up a pebble and cast the light cantrip on it and give the pebble to Meridian.
You didn't need to do
And
that.
the dragonborn goes, Zaga goes, ooh, 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 ooh.
And I'll do the same for him too.
Can you have two?
No, but I
Oh
can cast
no, I can't. No, I can't.
And
Good
he
point.
takes the one from Meridian and he cups it in his hands. And he just stares at it intently, just think of a happy place. Just think of a happy place. There is law and good and law as long as you can see the light.
This guy become an adventurer.
Yeah. Didn't he say he was a... This is just an Emma question. That he was a follower of Tiamat as well?
I meant Bahamut. Sorry.
Okay. I was like, man, that's a real...
That would be quite a volte-face, wouldn't it? A lawful good paladin of Tiamat.
yeah, when you said Tiamat, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Good catch. You got inspiration for catching the DM.
Thanks.
Yeah, I meant Bahamut. All right. So he's going to stand at the stern, and he just whispers plaintively as you all head out, "Don't forget me."
Wait, what? We don't actually say that.
What? No, Meridian, you can't do this. I'm only here because of you.
I'm kidding. Totally didn't already lose my memory.
You see him sort of put a clawed hand over his chest like he's having an angina attack. All right, so the rest of you with Krimfaxi and Cud head back out again into the darkness of the forbidding jungle. Not 100% sure what you're planning on, what you will face on your return journey, hoping that you'll make good time and that your poor dragonborn friend survives his potentially harrowing night with this diametrically opposed vampiress.
Oh, she's a pussycat.
It'll be fine, probably.
And also hopefully getting back in time before Aegeus has to fight off a number of dinosaurs all on his own and break his promise to you to not kill any more of them.
Make it back in time. It's fine.
We're going fast.
Shit.
All right, folks. Route. Yeah, take the scenic route, stop and pick some flowers.
Yeah. It'll be fine. He'll be fine.
All right. Well, thanks very much, everybody. I guess it's 5 o'clock. Was it fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
I really liked that. I love this. I love Zagig. He's so fun to play with.
He needs therapy, basically.
Yes.
We turned him vegan, gave him an existential crisis, and now we're sticking him with a vampire.
Oh, this poor guy.
I don't understand. You don't want me to eat meat, and yet she's over there eating people. Soylent Green is people.
And she just drinks them like a Capri Sun. It's not like she's eating all of them.
Sustainably harvested.
Yeah.
Like a Capri Sun. Just like sucking until all you hear is...
Exactly.
You know what? The average human body can replace its blood pretty quick.
Aren't you studying medical stuff?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Clarissa, upon hearing that, saddles up next to you and goes, "Really?"
Yeah. It's a renewable resource.
Shall we put that to the test?
You already had some of mine. Wait.
Oh, no, all right. Toodaloo!
Bye!
See you later!
Fade to black. Literally.
All right. Well, thanks very much, everybody. So hopefully next week, Friday, we'll wait to hear from you, Maddie, to confirm. And you can
Okay.
drop it into the Hangry Birds chat just to let us all know. And as soon as Maddie says it's Friday, we'll all move to Friday.
Sounds good. I will
Okay.
let you know as soon as I hear back.
Perfect. Thanks very much, everyone.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.